The Five Nights at Freddy's movie just came out a month ago as I'm writing the script, and it's alright. It's not groundbreaking or anything, but it is entertaining. But it did leave me wanting for more. So I hopped onto my computer, went to YouTube, and watched an hour-and-a-half video of Wendigoon breaking down the story of FNAF. Halfway through the video, I realized what I was doing. Wait, why am I watching a video about the game instead of playing the game myself? Why is that my instinct? I've played the first 3 games and I grew up with the franchise. Why am I not sentimental with it? Because after watching Detective Pikachu, I played Pokemon Sun for 16 hours straight. And believe it or not, this game actually made me want to be a game developer. So why is my reaction not the same with FNAF? Why would I rather watch a MatPat or Wendigoon video, or any theory video really, than play the game myself? Was it actually not a good game? If so, then how did it get this big, that it even has a movie? Or maybe it is just not for me. These questions have been bugging me for months, even before the movie was released. And so, here we are. The first I've heard about Five Nights at Freddy's is at school. My friends were huddled together and were really rowdy playing this game on one of their phones. When I came to check, they pulled me in, and the one who was playing the game originally gave me the phone and said, "You, play the game." I don't even know how to play the game.
You'll figure it out.
The game was the first Five Nights at Freddy's. Y'all, I'm a gamer. I'm ready for anything. The next thing I know, I got jump scared by Foxy because I didn't check Pirate Cove. Everybody who's watching me screamed like they got caught on a spring trap. For some reason, this game is more popular to girls than it is to boys. The boys were probably playing League or Clash of Clans or something straight as fuck, you know? High school boys, am I right? Somehow we were able to beat Night 5 even though we didn't know what the hell we were doing. I was checking every camera, which is not the optimal strat FYI, and we would scream every time we see Bonnie or Chica. I honestly don't know how we got through it. Our strat was check the lights, see Bonnie or Chica, scream, close the door, open the lights, see the shadow, scream again. Once they're gone, check the cameras, see Bonnie giving us the bombastic side eye, scream, close the door, even though she's not outside, open the lights, obviously there would be no shadow, open the door, rinse and repeat. We would not check on Freddy at all. I seriously do not know how we got through Night 5. We would check Pirate Cove because we've learned our lesson, but never Freddy. The first Five Nights game genuinely inspired me and piqued my interest in game development. It made me realize that games don't have to be overly complicated to be good. I admit, the first game worked really well for whatever it wants to achieve. That's before it kept beating a dead horse, but I'll reserve that topic for later. Once we beat the game, we didn't think much of it. We did our little celebratory high fives and went to our next class. The next day, I found out there's Night 6. What? I thought it's called Five Nights at Freddy's. How come there's Night 6?
I don't know. Stop being a smartass and play the game.
We played the game, and we could not beat it. Our strat, screaming and shouting, proved to be ineffective, so we just gave up on it. But I couldn't let it go. When I went home that night, I downloaded the game on my phone and grinded through it. When I reached the dreaded Night 6, I was on my gamer pose. I think I eventually learned that Freddy and Foxy wouldn't move if you look at them through the security camera. The middle of the game, in my mind I thought, this is boring. Delete. Kidding. I did beat Night 6 before I deleted the game, but this would occur again when I played a sequel and the third game. It's not that the first game was boring, it's just that once I beat the game, well, now what am I gonna do with you? So I just deleted it. I did see the custom game, but I wasn't really that into the game that I would go out of my way to create a custom game for me to test my skills. And at the time, I didn't understand what the point of the custom game was. Why is the custom game only available once you've beaten the game? Shouldn't it be readily available from the start so you can hone your skills through it? Kinda like every training room in every game ever. Some might say 2020 or 420. I have to add I didn't know this at the time because I didn't even bother to open up the custom game. And even if I did know about the 420, I most probably wouldn't try it. Because, as I've said, I didn't really like the game that much. I only played the game on my own because me and my friends weren't able to beat it. And in my silly teenager mind, I felt like I needed to finish the game for me and my friends. You know, finish what we've started. That is one of the game's problem. Playing this game alone is just sad. This is not Five Nights at Freddy's. This is Six Nights of Sadness. Sure, it's satisfying to beat a night, but all you really get is a confetti and a computerized yay. I think I started off strong with this game. I think I accidentally found the best way to play the game, and it all went downhill from there. Best I can describe it is playing Minecraft with friends. Playing Minecraft with friends is like Ultra Instinct Goku. It is elite. Minecraft alone, base Goku. It is still solid, and you can make a super bomb, but still, with friends, it is undoubtedly unbeatable. Playing FNAF with friends was by far the most fun I had playing the game. Not taking the game seriously, getting scared and being anxious as a group is, I believe, the best way to experience the game. Because playing FNAF alone is like fucking beat up Yamcha. Why am I playing this? Just to suffer? I don't even have to know Dragon Ball lore to know how messed up this is. So even as a teen, the target audience of this game didn't get the appeal of it. The gameplay was awfully repetitive. Open the cam, check Freddy, check if Foxy reared his ugly head, close the cam, check the lights, rinse and repeat. The only difference between levels is that you have to speed it up a notch. Why am I playing Security Guard Simulator? I don't want this. Once you get the hang of it, it's really just up to the AI if it wants you to win or not. This is especially true FNAF 2 upwards. I'm gonna jump into the future, but by the third game, I was already done with it. It's just the same thing, different monsters. I did not find the game interesting at all. So was that a problem? This FNAF just lacks the power of friendship, that's why I can't wrap my head around how it's gotten this successful? Somehow I don't buy that, because play any game with friends and it would be 100 times better. There has to be another reason why it doesn't click to me and to millions of other people. I say millions, but it's probably just me and a handful of people. By 2014-2015, I was already deep into the rabbit hole that is YouTube, and would watch any video I find remotely interesting. Back then there wasn't really an abundance of channels talking about very niche topics like video about games or theories about games. There's only a handful I can remember, but YouTube at the time was riddled with vloggers and let's plays like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, the OG Trinity. There's a channel I was addicted with called Extra Credit, where the host
had a high-pitched voice,
and he would talk about game development that fed my teenage yearning for that particular topic. But the channel was mainly focused only on game dev tips, and not really about the lore of games. And of course, there was this up-and-coming channel called Game Theory, who would talk about game theories you don't even know exist. That channel, single-handedly, made the game more interesting than it really is. Hot take, I know. Even hotter take, the people who are invested in making theories about the game are more interesting than the actual game itself. I remember I played the entire FNAF 3 and got the bad ending. I was confused because I thought, as I've said, the game bored me. Then I go to the internet and everyone would be singing it praises. What the hell am I missing? I didn't think much of it though and just waited for the inevitable game theory video, and I found out you have to do these specific things to unlock secret cutscenes or the good ending. One in particular I remember was you have to click specific places to unlock minigames, and you have to input a passcode on the wall. I'm not gonna lie to you. Even at 14 I thought that was bullshit. What is this, Cicada 3301? You're looking for hackers, is that what this is? It felt out of place. Let me explain. Imagine Four Seasons or Stardew Valley for Gen Zs and As. You do these secret jutsu in your farm, click specific pixels, plant beans on one side and strawberries on the other. You draw a pentagram, and once you're done, you come out in Subway Surfers. What does this have to do with the game? Who are we in this scenario? Aren't we just security? Then how did we know these secrets? One of the most popular theories on the internet is that the player is the son of the founder of the Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria. Mind you, this isn't canon. This is just a theory. Even so, again, how did we know all these stuff? How did the player, the security guard, know that if you click this poster through the camera on the second night, we would acquire a secret memory? You might be wondering, if other games can have good endings or multiple endings, then why can't FNAF? It can, but the way it did it doesn't make any sense. We didn't do anything in particular to know these secrets. We didn't solve a puzzle, we didn't solve a mystery, we didn't do anything. That's a problem. It's not satisfying. We didn't dig these stuff ourselves, we just search it on the internet. FNAF 3, good ending, how the F? Okay, I knew that in the minigames you can see the clues on the west side of the building. I was saving that info for last. I will be honest, I wouldn't have been able to solve those puzzles had I not searched it on the internet. Some of the clues were straightforward for sure, but the clicking of the buttons on the game console? Never in a million years will I bother figuring that out. Why is it just plastered on the screen like the clues were just an afterthought? Shit, the game's deadline is next week. I haven't done the clues yet. Fuck. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Old school games did this very obscure hiding of game content back in the 90s because of technology limitations. Like Metroid hiding levels on fucking walls. Even if it is kinda frustrating and stupid the way they hid locations like that, I can't understand because they were just playing the cards that were dealt to them. If they could do better, I bet they would make a better transition, but they're just making the best out of the technology they had at the time. FNAF does not get the same pass. No way. That is just bad game design. Straight up. Be honest, if we didn't search the clues on Google or YouTube, would we be able to know there's a minigame? Probably other people would, but I can't because I can't be bothered to look at the game's code. I guess the creator knew that the bread and butter of the game was the lore. So he created the lore separately, updated the gameplay everybody loved, and he invented and forced the two to work together instead of figuring out a way to make them work. Supply and demand, bruh. Gotta strike while the iron's hot. Look, I'm all for lore. I love when stories have secrets behind them. It shows that the creative behind said content is passionate and cares about their work. Hereditary is a good example for this. If you didn't know Hereditary, highly recommend. It is very terrifying. Be warned. That movie is fucking terrifying at first watch. It is already a good horror movie on its own. I already had to keep my lights on that night just at first viewing because I was scared there would be a ghost grandma on my computer chair. And then we learn there's lore behind everything. Behind this seemingly innocent but ingenious shot, behind the whatever was at the end of the movie, behind the pigeon, behind the reflections, and of course, there's a lore behind the grandma sitting on a chair. When we watch the movie again for the second time, it seems like a completely different film. There's a secret behind every scare we thought was just a scare. There's a story happening behind the story. But of course, we don't have to do any of this. You don't have to go out of your way to research about the intricacies of this movie to enjoy it. This movie was already a good time, no alcohol required. FNAF, play the game, research about the lore, play the game again. Still the same game. Okay, so we saved the kids. How does this affect LeBron's legacy? Why are we doing this? Why do we care? By we, I meant the character we're controlling. How come we can control the puppet? How are we able to control Foxy? Aren't we just trying to make a buck? That's why we're part-time security? Okay, maybe it's unfair to compare FNAF to Hereditary, but both are trying to do the same thing. I can't help comparing the two. I was trying to make sense of it all, so I thought, maybe the internet was wrong. Maybe we, the players, are actually the main character of this story. Maybe it is the self-insert type and we're tasked to uncover the secrets of the game. So there's this game theory video I remember. My memory fails me, but I do know it's about the Purple Man. The video talks about how 5 purple pixels are the missing puzzle piece to make sense of the lore. Ain't no way. Then he closed the video and did something else. Dude, if I have to zoom in on Freddy Fazbear's ass cheeks just to get a droplet of lore.
Call me the fuck out. I'm not doing it.
Look, Freddy, you're alright. You're okay. That Afton guy was a real dickhead, I know. But I don't love you like that, you know? I wouldn't perform a colonoscopy to save you. Like, I wouldn't go that distance just to save you. Maybe if you haven't been trying to kill me for the past 2 games now, maybe I would have cared. If you helped me help you, instead of trying to kill me, maybe I would have wanted to save your psychotic ass. But it's too late now, Freddy. There wasn't even any introduction to any of this craziness. The closest to introduction we got was the phone call from every night. Hello, hello, hello. So you're the new security guard. Oh great, how fun. Welcome to Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria, where our animatronics try to kill you. Try not to die. Good luck. Best I can describe this without sounding irritating. That's probably too late now as well. It's like getting thrown into a family drama I have no interest in digging. Why would I? I'm just a security guard. FNAF 3 afterwards I did not play the games, but I did still watch the theory videos when they interested me. I feel like the creator knew that the mass audience was obsessed with the FNAF lore, so he opted to write a book to expand this animatronic world. I'm gonna be honest, never read a FNAF book. I don't really have an opinion on them. And just a little bit of research, apparently the books doesn't have anything to do with the games. But hey, props to the creator for trying out new and other avenues to build his world. There are some mixed reactions even from fans, but as I've said, haven't read the FNAF books. It would be unfair to judge it without even skimming it. So that would have to be a topic for another day. But maybe, as this Goodreads reviewer said, maybe Scott Cawthon is a game developer, not an author. Some of my opinion in this video are probably wrong. Never gonna say my words of ultimatum, but I think Something we can agree on is that Five Nights at Freddy's is a game first, lore second. That the creator's main form of storytelling is through games. I think that's great. Get more people into gaming, I'll say. And he's created a gameplay nobody has seen before. But unfortunately, it is only a matter of time before it gets old. Do it once, yeah, great creative game. Do it twice, okay, bravo. Do it 3 times, I'm not seeing what's the point now. And I do believe that even Cawthon was aware of that being a part-time security guard simulator doesn't correlate with trying to save the souls of the deceased children. So what he opted to do was have another game within the game. If you're gonna put a game within a game, then why not just release the game within the game as the game? Why not just make the 16-bit or 8-bit minigame as the main? Scrap the security guard simulator and let me just enjoy being the animatronics. Because it's kinda not working anymore. In the first game, we get a sense that we're thrown into something we didn't ask for, but in a good way. In a makes sense way. We worked in a pizzeria without knowing the horrifying history behind the establishment. The employer did a dick move of not telling us anything, and only once we start the job, only then do we realize that there are demonic animatronics in this freaking restaurant. That's brilliant. I can enjoy that idea. Even the sequel strives in this very idea. The game might have accidentally stumbled upon it, but it's the impression I got when I replayed the game just recently. In the second game, we're playing a new character who's also a security guard, because the other one quit, because who wouldn't after 6 nights of animatronics haunting you? This game already has minigames, but it manages to work itself out. In this game, when you die, sometimes a minigame will surface, and in this minigame we get to control the animatronics trying to save the children. I'm not gonna go deep into the lore, but in this execution we get a feel that we are seeing something we shouldn't be seeing. Like we're spying on a hidden history that we're not supposed to learn. Like the animatronics are trying to tell you something. Like it's asking for help. But you already know how I feel about that. That in the third game, all of that goes out the window. There's still some aspects that was from the second game, but didn't work quite as well this time. My main gripe is that there are 3 different games in one game. One gameplay is actively saving the children, another is the guard simulator, and the other are the visions or the history of Springman. The game bounces around between the 3 and it ruins the immersion. It is quite like the Assassin's Creed problem. You're playing and enjoying the game, then the game yanks you out of the gameplay for some reason. I genuinely think that the game would have worked even as an 8-bit game. We wouldn't know for sure, but we are proven time and time again that those type of games work. The platformer style is really the most interesting part of the game, and the ones I actually enjoyed playing. In here, we're actively saving the kids, which I can get around with. And in this world, we get to see weird illustrations of what really is going on behind the scenes, which adds more world building than the Phantoms and Springlock combined. The vision's purpose is to let us, the players, know the history behind the animatronics and Springman. But in this game, it doesn't feel as natural because every time you succeed in beating the knights, it will show you a cutscene without fail. What the second game did better is that it seldom shows anything. Sure, it will give us this weird scare factor, but it's really not that important to the lore of the game. And the really important ones you just get by chance. There's luck behind it. Maybe the game will show it to you, maybe it won't, and that's good. There's storytelling behind the tactic, even though it's not obvious. And the Visions also has the clues that we need to unlock the platform game, so that we can save the children and achieve the good ending. The clues on this game, man. I wouldn't have been able to know how to use them when I was 15 without the help of the internet. If this game came out when I was 9, there's no way I would be able to figure that out myself. I probably wouldn't even know there's a lore behind it. Who is this purple poo-poo and why is he disassembling the toys? I probably would have finished playing the game without knowing there's a secret ending. There's this weird gut feeling I get that these secrets are meant to be like those secret cheat codes like the Konami code. And sure, I like the idea, but if you don't know those codes, or know how to use those codes, it would be like you're only playing half the game. Even if you play Contra without the Konami code, it would still be a full game. It's really just a cheat that adds more to the gameplay. But maybe also half the fun of the game is figuring out the game. So now you have 4 games in one. The guard simulator is the one that feels redundant. It didn't need to be there. The game would have worked without that gameplay. I don't know what the purpose of it all is. Were we the ones who burned the building? But I guess that's what made FNAF stood out against other games at the time. That's why they feel the need to include it. Before making this overly intensive analyzing of FNAF, I played the first 3 games. I will explain later why I only played the first 3 games. For now, please let me cook. I felt like I have to play them, otherwise my opinions will be invalid. The first 2 games were alright. They felt like old school arcade games. The third, I tried achieving the good ending. I really did. But by the end, I got this. In the game, you need to complete minigames to get the good ending. And the games that I was showing to you were the minigames. And if you were successfully able to complete them, you would be able to save the souls of the 6 children. Golden Freddy, Puppet, Bonnie, Foxy, Chica, and Freddy. As you can see, I only have 5. When I saw this, I thought, ain't no way, and closed the game. I've already beaten the game before trying to get the good ending, but got the bad one because apparently there are secrets in the secrets. I was just doing the bare minimum, and the only thing I got was the basic ending. The footage you're seeing is my second playthrough of the game. At this point, I think I'm done with the game. I think if I play the game again, I will hate it. Like I will curse it. Curse it up to its 4th generation. Like I would use it as a Horcrux just to fucking curse it. I don't even want a Horcrux. And I think that's alright. Not alright doesn't curse it, but alright in a sense that I'm satisfied with just the bad ending. And maybe that was the game for me. I don't really care for the souls of the animatronics. I wouldn't go out of my way to save them. So maybe the bad ending is the perfect ending for me. This is actually the first thought that came to mind when I was flabbergasted as to how and why Five Nights at Freddy's got this humongous. The community is the most interesting part of Five Nights at Freddy's. Let me be clear, I am not trying to save my ass here. I do not like the games, period. They are not for me. But this is my hill to die on for this franchise. The community achieved what the franchise failed to do. When I was replaying this game for this video, sometimes I would get stuck on some night, especially on the 3rd game. So I would search Google, FNAF 2, Night 4, Reddit. The Reddit part is actually very important, and what you would get are intensive guides on how to beat the game. Some even have night per night strategies, which is insane. How many times did you replay the game to know the little subtleties? I wouldn't have been able to beat the games if there weren't any of these guides. FNAF 2, you wouldn't be able to beat Night 6 or even Night 5 if you do not fundamentally understand the game. I do not care about the intricacies of the game, so these guides are a huge help. As you can see here as well, this post describes the entirety of all the key elements in the game. The post talks about the tools the players will have to use in order to survive. It goes into great detail about what those tools are and when to use it. Scroll down a little bit and you'll see the animatronics section. In here, the OP listed all of the animatronics, how to counter them, what their weaknesses are, how to avoid them, what to do when you encounter them, what they do and where they appear. But weirdly, this post added more to that. Mangle, dismantled by sadist kids, climbs walls like Spooderman to get to your office, hangs in the hallway or claws in the vents. BB, disables your lights if he gets into your office, allowing Foxy to get in like some kind of sadistic tag team. Toy Chica, the fan art of her is usually uncomfortable. Toy Bonnie, I have a personal bias towards him because he's a rock star. I just like him because he's like that one guy in your hangover crew that insists on paying for drinks and is basically a good guy Greg. Or at least, that's what he would seem to be. There are a lot of Reddit posts similar to this, but this is the one that stood out the most. This might just look funny to you, and it is, but I love this. I stopped playing the game just to read this. Craziest part is, this post only have 2 upvotes, and one of the upvotes came from the OP themselves, so a total of 1 user liked this masterpiece, which is insane. These guides / posts gave life to the game. You will not see these in the game. Well, it might, in a book, but open the game right now and you'll never see a bestiary or any information talking about the animatronics. Maybe in the phone call, I can't remember. To preface, I am that weird kid who read the Pokédex for fun. I hope that gives you an idea on what kind of weirdo you're dealing with. This is what I mean when I said the community did something the game couldn't or didn't. The community gave the game and these animatronics characters. What do I mean by that? While playing these games, when you get to a certain point, when you already know the optimal strat, when you already know when, how, and why Foxy rears her ugly head, how to avoid the puppet, how to avoid Freddy, how to avoid everybody, at some point, they all just feel like programming. Like, you can feel the conditions that's been met or you fail to meet, and that's why the animatronics are reacting the way they are reacting. As a guy who knows a thing or two about programming, it felt pretty apparent. Public Foxy. If player didn't flash the flashlight for, I don't know, 5 seconds, jump his ass. Some can say, bro, you said it yourself. They're robots. Of course they run on programming. And yeah, that's why they're boring. The community made a backstory for the robots. Why can't the game do that as well? It's almost like there was no backstory behind them to begin with. The creator didn't do an OnlyFans account for okay, maybe that's weird. The game wants you to read between the lines and fill the gaps of the story, but the gap is the same distance as the Earth and the Moon. The gap is so big it can fit the other 8 planets and Pluto in between. That's how big of a gap you have to fill. Just so you know, the community doesn't have to make the characters. It's the creator's job to make them lovable, hateable, relatable, affordable. I don't know, I'm running out of words. Not to say the community can't, but the creator first has to build them up, give them attitude, give them behavior, give them life, and only then should the community add the icing on the top, not the other way around. I don't want to see these coming from the fans. I want to see these in the games. What does this have to do with the games? It has everything to do with the games. That's what we're theorizing, aren't we? Why did Purple Guy do this? Why did Purple Guy kidnap this kid? Is he stupid? Why is the puppet giving cupcakes to the kids? Is it the good guy? How come Bonnie can teleport? Why does Toy Chica have cupcakes? Does she like wasting food? I don't fuck with that. She has tons of fan art. FNAF Chica fan. Who is Golden Freddy? Why is Golden Freddy? What are their motives? Why are they doing what they're doing? Are they really just possessed animatronics? Doesn't seem like to me, because some walk on the hallways and some attack you from the vents. Clearly they have preferences. Why is Puppet trying to save the kids? What's it to him? But the game was barely there when it comes to that. So the community was tasked to fill in those gaps. I don't want to fill in those gaps because they are literal gaps. They feel like plot holes to me rather than a mystery me and the game are trying to solve. I don't think even the game wants to solve itself because the story is not even done yet. Still, they put it in a game and call it a mystery because they know the community will fawn over it. So is that it? Is it the community's fault for being so passionate about the game that even the game wasn't able to keep up? Well, yes, this was actually my first conclusion. The community was so elite that it raised the game to stardom. But that's actually a fair argument. Why wouldn't a community raise a franchise up if they genuinely love the content? That just made me sound jealous. Good thing Pokemon is still going. Nah. I think what it is it is not the best game for the story it wants to tell. Jeez Louise, we're finally here. I hope I've made my point quite clear. I've been hinting it, like Reiner being the armored titan. If you skip to this part, please go back like 10 seconds. Double tap your left screen if you're on your phone. Thanks for stopping by. The game does not fit the story at all. I'd argue it gets in the way of the story. The game stubbornly tries to make the original gameplay work, and it just can't. So they have to work their way around it in order to tell this bloated story. So what happens is they just give breadcrumbs of the story in order to lead the player to figure it out themselves because they can't tell it properly, or they won't tell it properly. Even the movie is not the guard simulator that we all know. It's about the security guard and his sister asking the souls of the animatronics for help. Sure, it still has the classic bamboozling and tomfoolery, but 90% of the movie was about the family drama. That's why I just wanted to play the 8-bit game, because that's the only effective way the game could tell its story. That way, the game doesn't feel the need to make a 5 purple pixel as a clue in this humongous mystery. The game could show us this world instead of just being stuck in an office for 6 hours. In my opinion, the gameplay does not really matter, but it has to complement the story of the game, especially a story as complicated as this. Don't believe me? Let me tell you a game. A game as old as time. A game so unexpectedly messed up, people who didn't necessarily like the gameplay, people who didn't appreciate the gameplay, liked the game. Let me tell you the tale of Doki Doki Literature Club. Back when this came out in 2017, a good friend of mine, let's just call him Jojo because he likes JoJo, and he kinda looks like Mojo. Oh, kidding. This dude was hyping it up.
Bro, play the game. Play it before the normies discover it.
Searched the game up on Steam and saw it was a visual novel. This is hentai, isn't it? At the time, I did know about visual novels. Hang around weebs for long enough and you'll know of its existence. But I didn't play any of them because of their reputation. And their reputation being Black Bible and Euphoria. If you know, you know. I think I might have played Katawa Shoujo, and even that is sus. So I wasn't really thrilled about playing this game, and I thought I was being baited into a messed up game, and I was, but in a good way. Then bam, a week later, it was trending. Markiplier played it, PewDiePie played it, Jacksepticeye played it, even Game Theory did a video on it. I've seen these YouTubers cover all kinds of games before. I've seen the internet be passionate and talk about all kinds of games before, but I've never seen this hive mind collectively love a visual novel. So this is not hentai. So I played the game and I thought, it's alright. It was giving P3P vibes. Then I got to that scene. That very infamous scene from the game. 17-year-old me was fucking shooketh. That shit came out of fucking nowhere. What the fuck? I had this same reaction. I could not handle it at the time, so I just uninstalled it. I don't know if you can even call visual novels gameplay a gameplay, but that shit did more damage to me than the notorious Bite of 87. Doki Doki was able to utilize the visual novel medium. Well, I don't know how they did it, but they knew that visual novel was the way to go. If you know the lore of Doki Doki Literature Club, or if you've played the game, you'd know that the story goes south out of the blue. And it was able to be effective because the gameplay complements the story. When it does its twists and turns, the shaken and bacon, it worked because the story is just unraveling right in front of us. The story is complete. We have to solve mysteries, of course, but we are part of the mystery. We want to stop Monica. We're not someone from the outside looking in. We're part of the club. We had a connection with the characters who got erased by Monica. And when we play the game, within the game, the manipulating of game files, it is accounted for. We're supposed to be there. It's part of the game. We're not saving the souls of those psychos who were trying to kill us when we were just doing our jobs. We were saving the characters who we got to know before it all went wrong. Or maybe you don't, and maybe that's your game. While FNAF is all over the place. We're expected to be in 3 places at once. We have to scour pixels just to understand the story. We have to do so much, and in the end, what do you get? 4 masks that have no lights in their eyes. Yeah, no, doesn't seem like a great deal to me. Yeah, but you only played the first 3 games. If you played the rest of the games, you'd know that the story has been completed. The plot holes you've been joshing about have been covered. Yeah, I know. The gap was eventually filled, and it only took 9 years, 7 sequel prequels, 6 spin-offs, and a total of 45 books. Five Nights at Freddy's took that long to tell its story because it kept insisting on using its original gameplay. The FNAF games individually can't stand on their own. They are incomplete. You need 5 other games to make sense of it all. And that just feels gimmicky to me. Even if you cut off the 6 spin-offs and the 45 books, I still do not want to play the other 6 games. I also know that all of my questions will be somewhat answered in FNAF 4. Just the next game. But I'm quitting before I get to the gem. This game is not for me. And if I get jump scared one more time, I will lose my shit. I created this video essay to learn from the franchise. And I learned something, alright. There are actually 48 books, but the 3 are coloring books. I don't know if the coloring books add something to the lore. Looking at these numbers, I'm just impressed. He knows what he's doing. Or does he? While researching for this video, I found the 5 purple pixels I was talking about. And apparently it's not purple, but it is an orange pixel. Yeah, this is when I opted out.
But when we looked, sure enough, there it was. A few orange pixels laying on the ground. What? Seriously? This was the crucial detail all of us had missed.
I scrolled down and saw the first comment saying, I feel like this theory was totally correct. And then Scott panicked and made 5 more games to prove Matt wrong. And it's got 30,000 likes. Scroll down a little deeper and all of the more recent comments second and approve this theory. Ain't no way. I feel like I just saw an open can of worms I didn't want to see. Man built a franchise just to prove another man wrong. I don't know what to feel about that. He didn't even want any of this. He just didn't want to be figured out. Somehow that's more disappointing than it just being a convoluted game. At least in that scenario, he is passionate about his work and it just came out firing in all cylinders. Or maybe he saw what the outcome will be and was like, oh shit, I don't want that. And went back to the drawing board. I might be looking too much into a game. that requires you to look too much into it. Finally, they got rid of the security guard simulator. Now the gameplay can finally focus on the story. The first game doesn't have to be good. It has to know its way around this new medium. I bet the next one will be much better.